Hello. I think we can get started. It's my pleasure to welcome you all very warmly to the 17th graduation ceremony for the Northern Ontario Dietetic Internship Program, or NODIP, as we like to call it. My name is Kara Green, and I'm the manager of dietetics. So this graduation ceremony is an important occasion, the culmination of hard work, the actualization of goals attained, and the acknowledgement of successes achieved. Today, our graduates are reflecting on their past achievements and eagerly looking forward to their future opportunities. I want to begin with a land acknowledgement and story about my connection to this area. NOSM University's wider campus of Northern Ontario is on the homelands of the First Nations and Métis peoples. I had the pleasure of being born and raised here in Thunder Bay, which is the Fort William First Nation, and the Robinson Superior Treaty Territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Nation. And I have much to learn about the history of the Indigenous peoples of this area, but what I did learn as a child came from folklore and legend. And my favorite legend is that of Greenmantle and Kekabeka Falls. And those of you who are visiting Thunder Bay, you need to visit it. We call it our little Niagara of the North. It's quite lovely. So Greenmantle was a courageous young Ojibwe woman and daughter of a chief who cleverly tricked enemy Sioux warriors to paddle over Kekabeka Falls, killing them and unfortunately herself in the process in order to save her entire community, which she did. Greenmantle's story of courage, strength, and love fascinated me as a child. I grew up admiring Indigenous women, regarding them as loyal, strong, and brave. I drew inspiration from Greenmantle's story, and I pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. And I'm glad I did, because that's why I'm able to be here with all of you right now. And I hope that our graduates draw similar inspiration so that you can explore the many opportunities that will be available to you as future nutrition professionals. So thank you for attending today's celebration to congratulate the 10 learners who have successfully completed the program. This group is the last to be graduating under the name NODIP. Beginning this September, the program name will also graduate to the NOSM University Dietetic Practicum Program, signifying our evolution as a university program. Our celebration today is being held in 2 locations, the NOSM University campuses in Thunder Bay and Sudbury. I would also like to welcome family, friends, and preceptors who are joining us today via live webcast. So joining me today in Sudbury are Dr. Céline Larivière, Provost and Vice President Academic for NOSM University. Denise Raftis, Dietitian Faculty and our Dietetic Practicum Lead. And Laura Bjorklund, Registered Dietitian Faculty and Site Coordinator for Sault Ste. Marie. And joining me in Thunder Bay is Dr. Sarita Verma, our President, Vice Chancellor, Dean, and CEO of NOSM U, whom I have the pleasure of welcoming up to give the graduate address. Welcome, Dr. Verma.
I'm shorter than you are. Merci, thank you, Miigwech, and welcome to this great event. And of course, welcome to everybody in Sudbury as well. I can't see them. Am I supposed to be able to see them?
No. Can we put it on audience view? Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Yeah, because you're there too. Terrific. Thank you so much. And of course, I'm so pleased to be here. I am, as Kara said, the President and Dean of NOSM University. And, you know, very, very proud of this program. I started here 5 years ago and really so delighted to be able to see a succession of some of the best people in Northern Ontario go into practice and stay in Northern Ontario, but also just to go into health professions practice and having an impact on patients' lives. Thank you to Dr. Larivière, our provost, for being here and representing us in Sudbury. And of course, to you, Kara and Denise, and the entire team. We have quite a few people here who are also part of the NOSM U family. And I hope that you will get to know them all because they've all played a very important role in your journey. Congratulations. This is awesome. And, you know, in the 2 years or in the period of time that you have been training to get to this point, you are now, as Kara said, the last class to go with that name. But the Dietetics Practicum program, which is coming next, isn't going to change that much in terms of what you learned. The reality is, I'm a family doctor. And as a family doctor, it's really important to be part of an interdisciplinary, interprofessional team. Teamwork is what makes a difference in people's lives. And as part of the team, you will not only be doing what you have already learned to do, which is counseling and, you know, providing people with the information they need related to their particular diseases, be it diabetes or chronic disease or cancer, or even children who are suffering from nutritional challenges, but you're going to have an impact on their lives. As a family doctor, I will tell you that, you know, what happens is you might not always talk to the doctor or even to the nurse practitioner, but the other people on the team who you feel an affinity with. And I look at some of these faces and I can tell you, I already feel like I might want to confide in you about my challenges, you know, with maintaining a healthy weight or a healthy lifestyle or making healthy choices. And that level of connectivity is what you bring, which is what NOSM University is so proud to say, that you have been part of a curriculum for Northern Ontario, but as part of a community in Northern Ontario that believes in our values. Our values are social accountability, doing what's right for society. Our values are equity, diversity, inclusion, respect, but also collaboration. So wherever you are, even if you're on your own, but mostly working in a hospital environment or working in a clinic environment or working in, you know, even a private environment, remember that there is no I in team. It's an old saying, and I hope Mr. Trump learns it too. I had a speech and I'm not even using it. I'm in so much trouble, but you know, I feel pretty passionate about you guys. There's 207 graduates so far, and many of them, almost a lot of them anyway, have stayed in Northern Ontario. But what's interesting is 40% of your colleague alumni have ended up becoming preceptors for us. So please consider it. The whole purpose of rejuvenation and renewal is to actually learn what you know and then transmit that knowledge to others. It's called knowledge translation. And what you know today, I hate to tell you, is rapidly going to be obsolete in 2 years. You know, there was no, all of the glutides didn't exist 2 years ago, right? I don't want to use the trade names, but they didn't exist. In fact, many of the things that we use to monitor health and dietetic intake didn't exist 2 years ago. 7 years ago, by the way, TikTok didn't exist. So, you know, just remember, in order to stay up to date, you need to stay in touch with your institution. You need to do continuing professional development, and you need to be the person that people go to say, I want to learn from you because you are the best teachers. Stay in touch with us. NOSM University is just 2 years old. Before that, we were a medical school with a few little programs, but we're now a full standing health education university. And in that sense, we want you to be connected to us as part of the family. Sherry Koch is here. She's got oversight of our alumni relations. Please think of yourself as alumni, as part of this family, because we want to see you. We want to see you at our annual conference at Northern Constellations, Northern Connections, Northern Lights. We want to see you at our continuing professional development programs. And, you know, in about, let's say, 25 years, we want your kids to apply to come to one of our programs, be it the MD or the Dietetics Practical program, or, you know, maybe we'll have other degrees too. Miigwech for doing what you're doing, and thank you for being the kind of people who care about health, who care about people, who care about the future of Northern Ontario. I cannot tell you how incredibly proud I am to be part of this institution where things matter, people matter, and dietetics matter. So thank you so much, and congratulations. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Verma. I now have the pleasure to welcome our Provost and Vice President Academic, Dr. Céline Larivière. She's going to say a few words to the graduates as well. Hi, Céline.
Okay. Everyone's good? Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Verma. And I would say, Dr. Verma, U.S. President. She's so inspirational. I'm very pleased to be here in Sudbury on the traditional lands of the Atikameksheng and Wanapitei First Nations. Dear graduates, family and friends, this year marks the 17th year of the NODIP program. The success of the program is a testament to the excellence of the staff, preceptors that support the program, and the quality of the dietetic learners. I want to take a moment to thank Kara Green and Denise Raftis for being such strong leaders of this program. I have taken notice of the amazing progress and changes that have happened in the course of 17 years with the dietetic program, including the changes in evidence around food and health recommendations as they relate to diet and nutrition. This accredited program is a positive example of how NOSM University values interprofessional teams of healthcare providers dedicated to the care of Northern Ontario communities. Graduates, the projects you've participated in with medical and nursing students that address the food literacy of our populations and your dedicated work within interprofessional teams in clinical settings are truly remarkable. By working alongside other healthcare professionals, you have learned more about each other's education and future roles to serve the health needs of our populations, including medical care nutrition, food insecurity, and the role of food and nutrition in health promotion and disease prevention and management. Most importantly, you have demonstrated the enormous value of the registered dietitian on the healthcare team. Your role as an allied health professional will always be evolving. You've chosen a career that will forever offer lifelong learning opportunities and drive further knowledge to inform the health of Northerners. I'm so proud of you for taking on this healthcare role. Do keep in touch with NOSM University, as Dr. Verma mentioned already. In the meantime, I wish you all tremendous success and satisfaction in your chosen career as a registered dietitian. Thank you, merci, miigwech. I now have the pleasure to welcome our guest speaker, Leslie Lalonde, registered dietitian and the former site coordinator for NODIP's Sudbury site. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Larivière. Can you hear me? Yeah, perfect. Good afternoon. It is so exciting to be standing here in front of proud family and friends, dedicated program staff, and most importantly, the remarkable graduates of NOSM U's dietetic internship program. It is an honor to stand before you today as both an alumnus and a preceptor of the program. NODIP is such a special part of my story as a dietitian, and I am so happy to have had the opportunity to continue to work with the program and so many amazing learners for more than a decade since I completed it. Interns, now graduates, and soon-to-be dietitians, today marks the accumulation of years of hard work and perseverance. You have not only learned theoretical knowledge, but you've also mastered the art of translating that knowledge into meaningful and impactful care for your future patients, clients, and community. You've embarked on long hours of studies, hands-on practical training, and faced challenges along the way. There were times you faced the challenges head-on and persevered. You came out stronger with a sense of accomplishment. But there were also challenges that you didn't meet, ones you wish you had approached differently, or that the outcome or the circumstances were different. I want you to remember that those challenges are an important part of your journey as well. Those are the opportunities when we must reflect and adapt, and sometimes think twice about how we approach things. Those challenges make us think about the way we interact with people and how to react in new situations. They are often the most impactful learning experiences. And at the time, it may seem like a punishment or a stroke of bad luck, but those are the times we're going to remember. They're going to be situations that empower us to do better and to think differently. Over the past years, you've been equipped with the tools, knowledge, and experiences necessary to excel in your future careers. You've entered many unique practice settings, learning what interests you and really what doesn't. You've walked away from some rotations with a sense of relief, but then found yourself wondering about that client you met a week later. You've learned the importance of evidence-based practice, cultural competency, and compassionate care. And above all, you've made connections with your peers, your mentors, and the populations and communities you served. Cherish those connections. They will be invaluable as you navigate the next step. As you step into your professional career, remember that your role as a dietitian extends far beyond clinical and community settings where you practice. You are the advocate for positive change in the future, educators who will inspire others to make informed choices, and leaders who will drive advancements in the health of the public. Your expertise will guide you, and your influence will ripple through the communities where you're at. Today, I want to offer you some advice. I've had what feels like both a really long and a really short career as a dietitian. I distinctly remember sitting in your role today, excited to be moving away from a traditional learning setting and embarking on a new job. But when I think back, I also can't believe what I've learned and experienced since then. In my subjective opinion, I would say I've had great success in my career thus far. I've had the privilege of feeling that I've had a positive impact on a patient's journey through the healthcare system. I've had the security of belonging to a team I am so proud to be a part of. I felt supported by coworkers and leaders of my organization in difficult circumstances. I am fulfilled and proud of the work I do. And I am so grateful to call so many of my dietitian colleagues my friends. I wish you all these successes in your career. I can't decide exactly how I ended up here, but I can give you an idea. I want to encourage you to stay excited. Today, as you sit here, you're excited to enter your new career. Continue this excitement throughout your time as a dietitian. When you start your first job, you're going to be grateful and humble, willing to learn from other people around you, and eager to fulfill your job requirements. New cases and projects will bring you both a sense of passion and accomplishment. But as time goes on and tasks become repetitive, you will still fulfill your job requirements thoughtfully and efficiently. But the excitement can start to fade. This is why I love preceptoring learners. They remind me to go back to the basics, think logically, and maybe investigate a new approach. But most importantly, they bring that excitement, eagerness to learn a new skill, victory when they accomplish something difficult, and intrigue when they experience something different. I've had the privilege of learning with so many NODIP learners in my career. This is how I've kept the excitement, and this is truly what has brought me so much success in what I do. Learners, I'm going to call you that one more time. I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. The journey ahead is filled with possibilities and opportunities. Embrace them. Approach your future goals with the same passion and dedication that brought you here, and you'll be successful. Congratulations to the 2024 NODIP graduates. Everyone here today is so proud of you, and we are all so excited to see the incredible things you do as a dietitian. Thank you, and congratulations again. And we will now begin the certificate presentation portion of our ceremony. I would like to turn it back over to Kara in Thunder Bay.
Thank you, Leslie. That was great. So it is now my pleasure to announce the graduates from Thunder Bay. When I call your name one by one, I want you to come up to the left side and stand with me and shake my hand, hopefully, and we'll get a little photograph, okay? All right, so number 1, Hannah Lung. Manveer Bamra. Abby Syria. And Linda McComb.
I think we're going to turn it over to Sudbury now. Well, thank you everyone for coming. And it is my pleasure with Laura to be welcoming the graduates here in Sudbury and then followed by Sault Ste. Marie. And please, as I call your name, join me at the front.
Jessica Scott. Taylor Gilchrist. Vyomi Vyas. Rachel Armstrong Furnival. Maxwell Snyder.
Carolyn Wettenberg. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations. We're going to pass it back over to Thunder Bay to Kara, who's going to say a few words.
Great. Thank you, Denise. So it's my pleasure to give the program address today. The NODIP, or DPP, as we are going to be calling it, is a very special program. It connects over 300 registered dietitians over this enormous geographical area that is Northern Ontario, roughly the size of the country of France. NOSM University staff, preceptors, and the NODIP team work together to build a robust practice of dietetics for the North, while also training our next generation of registered dietitians. Thank you to Drs. Verma, Lariviere, and Ravenik, as well as the NODIP team for making the success of this program possible. To our remarkable preceptors, thank you for your hard work and ongoing dedication to training our dietetic learners. Every year, Denise and I are deeply impressed by the hard work and resilience of our learners. A dietetic practicum program is not easy. Learners must navigate the difficult transition from academia to the professional working world in a short 46-week, more than full-time practicum training program. The program continuously challenges learners to build knowledge, skill, and judgment so they can become effective food and nutrition professionals. And this professionalism is what sets our graduates apart. So for those who don't know me, I love road cycling. So much so that I often incorporate it into my lessons for the learners. And on the very first day of this program, I was teaching such a lesson to my learners by showing them this photo. Now, those remarkable paragons of athleticism you see there are me and Primoz Roglic. Primoz is the Slovenian national cycling champion. He is the world champion and Olympic gold medal time trialist. He's won multiple cycling grand tours and is the highest paid cyclist in the world. And he's my favorite athlete to watch. So it's the first day of the program. Most of the learners are meeting me in person for the first time. And I rather unfairly asked them to point out what the similarities and differences were between me and Primoz. And after a period of some shuffling and awkward silence, one of them, I think it might have been Manveer, finally said, you have a really nice bike, Kara, which is all I wanted to hear. I then showed them this photo. So this is Primoz. This photo is taken of Primoz after 200 kilometers a day of riding over mountains in the rain, the searing heat, which is the 21-day hellish Tour de France. Primoz fell going over 60 kilometers an hour in the peloton. And what's remarkable, of course, about this photo is despite his injuries, he's back on his bike riding towards the finish line, where he did in fact finish that stage of the Tour de France. The next day, after eating what I'm sure was a very well-balanced and nutrient-dense meal, he got back on his bike and he did it all over again. He was bandaged and sore, but a little bit wiser. And most importantly, he was doing his job to support his team and his fans, which we'll call clients, just for fun. So graduates, it was this same grit, tenacity, and dedication that kept you going this year. Traits that are fundamental to professionalism and your future success as registered dietitians. Denise and I were proud to observe the grace with which you handled the ups and downs of the past year, the constant constructive feedback, the personal and academic challenges, setbacks, and the development of new and rewarding relationships. You took the tools we provided and you built yourselves new identities as healthcare professionals. You are ready to be clinical dietitians, diabetes educators, public health dietitians, or food service managers. And as you close this chapter of your dietetics journey, please remember that it's only the beginning of your education. You will always need more tools to keep you on that bike. Continue embracing knowledge and opportunities to learn with an open mind. As Denise always says, be a sponge. Another lesson that we want to leave you with is to embrace the gift of being a registered dietitian, because there are many. First, your entire career revolves around food, which is, of course, delicious and nutritious, but it also has the power to connect people in positive and constructive ways. Second, you are granted entry into an intimate aspect of people's lives, their relationship with food. Whether you will work with individuals or population groups, everyone's story with food reflects where they've been, what they've experienced, and where they are going. Use this privilege to unbiasedly support their journey with food and personal definition of health. And third, you are the Canadian experts in food and nutrition. Clients, patients, doctors, nurses, administrators, other team members are all going to look to you for evidence-based knowledge and skill in food and nutrition. This is an important and powerful position to hold. You have the ability to help people. Whether it is reassuring a new diabetic that you can modify his insulin so he can still eat that favorite chocolate bar, or minimizing nutrient losses through intravenous feeding, or developing a policy that will improve people's access, entire communities' access to food, you will be making a difference because everyone needs to eat. And as you consider your future and making it through your own Tour de France, my final advice is from Jerry Seinfeld and builds a little bit off of Leslie's excellent presentation. Do not just follow your passion because passion fades. Instead, follow what fascinates you. Or as Leslie put it, what excites you. Never forget that your fascination with food, nutrition, and human health drove you. It will energize and inspire you to persevere through setbacks and to take new directions in your career. I promise you will never be bored and always rewarded. So graduates, I want to officially welcome you to the profession of dietetics. You are deserving of the important positions you now hold and the accolades for your accomplishments. As Dr. Verma pointed out, you are now a part of our Northern Ontario dietetics and healthcare community. Regardless of where you choose to practice, you will always be welcomed here. So please join me in a round of applause to congratulate our 10 exceptional graduates. Well done. I am pleased to invite our last but not least final speaker of the day, Carolyn Whitenberg, to offer the learner address. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for welcoming me. It truly is an honor to speak on behalf of the class, and I will try my best to speak on our collective experience. I will warn, though, that I'm an emotional person who hates change, so please bear with me if my emotions make themselves known as we go through this big change today together. So my name is Carolyn, and I'm a Sault Ste. Marie learner in NODIP. And as you can probably tell from the presentation of our certificates, I'm actually the only learner in the Sault for the program this year, which I'm told is unprecedented circumstances. But after a few years of unprecedented circumstances, what's one more? And I wasn't completely alone, though. I did have my cat, Frank. And you know what? Looking back, I never actually felt alone. Even though all of us were separated by small towns and a few hundred kilometers between us, we were all still connected. And when I say separated by small towns, I do truly mean small towns. This is Northern Ontario we're talking about here, after all. But we were all still connected. All of us went through this year together. Sure, we had different individual experiences in different cities, different placements at different times, but we all went through this practicum together. Some of us came into the program already knowing each other. Some of us were familiar with each other, but most of us were strangers. And we prepared for the year in different but similar ways. We settled into our principal sites. Some of us moved to an entirely new city for the first time. Some of us became more comfortable in the city that we chose to settle in and call our home. And some of us were welcomed back to our hometowns with open arms. And as we became familiar with our principal sites, we reached out to touch base with each other and connect with what would be our colleagues for the very first time. In September, we sat together as a class for our orientation sessions, and we had a full week together, all of us in person. And it was actually just kind of down the hall from where we're sitting here now on the East Campus in Sudbury. There was so much excitement that first week. Part of us knew the incredible journey we all had ahead of us. And just as soon as we were starting to feel comfortable, that first week was over. But orientation wasn't done quite yet. We did have another week at our principal sites, meeting local RDs and learning a lot about the different dietitian positions within the cities we are now calling our homes. And some of these RDs would later go on to be our preceptors. And we did, of course, have assignments and workshops sprinkled in there throughout. It is an education practicum program after all. And though we might not have felt quite ready, it was time to start our first placements. Some of us dove straight into the hospital, seeing patients for the very first time. Some of us were in health promotion or leadership roles. And some of us started out far away on our very first rural placement. We weren't quite sure what to accept, but we succeeded nonetheless. And before we knew it, it was time for our first performance evaluation. Our first placement was finished. It felt so big. And we had so many more ahead of us. From there, we moved into our second placements, and then our third, and things came easier. We jumped into different roles. We started developing our confidence. We did it in our first placement, so we knew we could do it again. And we did. We did more than just do it, we excelled. And as we moved into each next placement, we were able to engage that much more. Our knowledge and our skills continued to grow. We took on bigger responsibilities. We sought out unique learning opportunities. Some of us had the opportunity to wear continuous glucose monitors or mock insulin pumps to develop our learning that way. And we started to see patients alone. And didn't that feel scary at the moment? No preceptor, just you, the patient, and whatever family they might have brought with them. But at that point, we knew we could do it. We've been building our confidence. Our preceptors believed in us, and we had them to fall back on. If a question was asked that we didn't know the answer to, they were there to help. And we also had each other to lean back on. So we saw that first patient alone, and by the end of the practicum, we had seen so many patients alone. In our placements, we didn't just see patients, though. We connected with them. We built a therapeutic relationship. We got to know them, their beliefs, and their values. And we also connected with our preceptors. We learned about different learning journeys into dietetics and how they got to the position where they are now. We saw different practice styles and connected as people, too. We connected with the community and the land around us. We learned about specific programs and needs in our principal sites and in our rural placements. Some of us got to know the land pretty well through spending free time outdoors. I know a few learners picked up cross-country skiing or hiking or even enjoying the land out on a patio of a restaurant after a long weekend of placement, or long week of placement, I should say. And some of us were welcome into Indigenous communities as well to complete placements that fostered our cultural competence. And through connecting with these communities, we could see firsthand the importance of relationship building and how Indigenous medicines and models of health can be used and exist alongside Western medicines. And through all of this, we connected with each other. We had our monthly whole group meetings, scheduled professional development events, workshops, and our practice-based projects. We were paired up for these projects together, and I feel like I need to give a special shout out to Rachel through this, as her and I had the special challenge of the geographical distance between us on this project. Some of us shared lunches at the hospital, and some of us shared placements or housing on our rural placements. We reached out to each other to ask questions, and we even tried to send a learner or two to the Sioux, but it didn't quite work out this year. Maybe they can try again next year. But we connected, and we built relationships as classmates, and now we'll have these relationships as colleagues. We have someone to call if we need a consult on a difficult placement, or if we're just driving through a town that we know so-and-so is working in. We can stop in, catch up, and chat. And who knows, we might even connect as coworkers in the future. And we connected for the not so great parts of our practicums as well, and we grew stronger together through it. We talked through things that happened in our personal lives throughout the year. We talked about our experiences at placements and things that really stuck out or frustrated us. I'm not trying to paint a bad light on our rural placements. I'm from a rural area myself, but most of us seem to have some unique, let's call it, challenges in our rural placements. We survived power outages, pests of the insect and rodent variety, and worst of all, I might be dramatic saying this, but a carpeted bathroom. We grew so much throughout this year together, and as we grew, our capacity grew. We could handle more and more. And when things became challenging, we could push through. We overcame challenges in our personal and professional lives and succeeded regardless. In May, we had our spring academic sessions, where we were all back together here again on the East Campus in Sudbury for a few days of information-packed sessions, including pediatrics, sustainable food systems, which I'm sure a lot of you knew I was really excited about. And we even had a knowledge sharing circle and a traditional dinner with Milkamus Julie, a local elder. We shared lunches and dinners, we learned and we connected. And as we wrapped up our sessions, it was a bittersweet goodbye, knowing that this is the last time that we would all be together this year as a class. We started to have a lot of lasts after that as we neared the end of our practicum. And we started to learn details about our consolidation, where we would take on the full patient caseload of a dietitian independently and use our own clinical judgment to develop and implement nutrition care plans. Some of us actually completed consolidation early and had the opportunity to demonstrate these entry-level competencies before their last placements. We sent out our last pre-placement reports, we finished our last placement, and we completed our last performance evaluations. We completed our consolidation, and on each day of it, we grew more sure of our capabilities. And soon enough, it was time for our last day, our last time seeing patients as a student. And my last patient was actually sleeping, so I didn't actually get to see her. It felt a little bit anticlimactic after everything building up to it, not gonna lie. But speaking of lasts, it's been mentioned a bit, this is our last day as NODIP learners. We will be the last graduating NODIP class. And as we know, the program's being renamed, thus taking effect this fall. And isn't that something special? To be the last graduating class of the Northern Ontario Dietetic Internship Program? And what a great class we are. We have so many reasons to be proud of ourselves and of each other. And I'm so honored to have completed this program in such great company. We've accomplished so much, and I know that there is so much more ahead of each of us. This is only the beginning of our journey into the professional world, and I'm so excited to see where this journey will take each of us. And I hope that we can stay connected through it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. That was fantastic. So that concludes our ceremony today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in our celebration. Denise and I want to give a special thank you to the advancement team for your gifts and for being here today, as well as admissions, as well as to the IT team for running all of the logistics of this event. And last but not least, thank you to Jennifer DeBaker, Jenny Carroll, Dr. Ravenick, and Tara Hawks for all your help with today's events. So congratulations again to all of our learners on your successful completion of the program. Please stay behind for some refreshments and hopefully a couple group photos if you don't mind. Thank you. Oops. We have mocktails outside. We can't serve champagne.